Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Muller here. How's everybody getting along? Well, we're going to see who's going to have a white Christmas, but most of all, the big story, in addition to the Midwest blizzard into the Great Lakes, just how far south and east will that blizzard and that snow, accumulating snow, make it? And the cold. I think that's going to be the biggest story, is take a look at this. Blasting cold air, Arctic plunge all the way to the southern states and the East Coast. We'll take a look and see how long this is going to hang around, who could see the biggest snow out of this, and who could see record lows. Let's get into it. And I wanted to thank all of you that have been helping support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, smash that like button. Let's get into it. All right, so my winter storm severity index, it takes into account a lot of things, not just heavy snow, but we're going to be seeing the worst of it here across parts of the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, into parts of the Ohio Valley. And then we're going to see this all the way down to the Gulf Coast and the East Coast. This is where we're going to see record cold temperatures blasting behind it. Wind speeds, extreme gusts, but we're also going to see, record lows Saturday morning down into the zeros. Yeah, as far south as some of the parts of the deep south. And then right around these fuchsia colors, all-out blizzard conditions will be likely. All right, let's take a look at 500 millibar flow here. It gives us a good idea of what's going on upstairs so we can see how that's going to transpire downstairs to the ground. Look at this. This is Friday. Look at the dynamics associated with this. This massive jet flow just pummeling right into the Midwest. That's going to feed into that extreme amount of wind and snow here across the Midwest into parts of Ohio, and that's going to transpire east here. Let's take a look. As we go out in time, you can see how this just and trains here into the Northeast. Friday at 1 p.m., we're going to see temperatures crashing, and look at that upper level low over eastern Canada. Yeah, that's going to spell trouble for much of eastern North America, and bitter cold temperatures all the way to the Gulf Coast and the far East Coast as well. All right, so many of you are watching this video because you want to see just how cold this could get here across the south and the east here. Take a look at this. Saturday morning lows north of this line, 20 degrees. North of this line, 10 degrees. This is crazy. We're going to see single digits all the way down into parts of the deep south here and well into the Northeast. Minus 20s, 30s, and 40s up here in the northern plains. And just to shed some light on the wind speeds here, I'll be going over this in about 10 minutes later on in the video, timestamp down below. But look at this. Wind speeds 40, 50, 60 mile per hour gusts here across parts of the Northeast. Friday afternoon, Friday night. Look at this. Yeah, these darker brown areas, you'll be approaching the mid to high 50s, near 60 mile per hour wind gusts. All right, so latest European run here with our snowfall totals across the Northeast. Just ignore that little blip there on Thursday. This will melt off with the rain pretty quickly, but look at that. Anywhere west of this line, this is where you could see that heavy wet snow developing behind the system, rain changing to snow. You will see a massive flash freeze here into parts of the Susquehanna Valley, Hudson Valley, into parts of New England, especially Friday afternoon and evening. So things will freeze into solid ice here. Not good news, but look at this. Up towards northern Ohio, Cleveland area 8.7, Erie 7.2, but look at that. Buffalo and Watertown area 17, 14-inch plus here into parts of Michigan as well. So yeah, lake enhancement is definitely going to be a key here. I think you'll eke out a couple inches, maybe in the Susquehanna River Valley, if even that, in the higher elevations. All right, so the upper Midwest here and parts of the Ohio Valley, this is where the lion's share of the snow is going to fall. There it is, Thursday into Friday. The big winner is the state of Michigan. You're going to be close in Chicago, right around 6 to 7 inches. It's going to be blizzard-like conditions in this entire area, however. So it doesn't matter whether you get 5 inches or 18 or 20 inches. Look at that. Northern Ohio, right around the 8 to 10-inch range. Look at this back into Missouri as well. Minnesota, Iowa, the whole state of Wisconsin. You were socked in with snow here. Detroit, you're going to be right on that 7 to 8-inch line, but look at just west of you. 12 to 18 inches, 20 plus there in the upper part of Michigan. Look at that. The state of Indiana, 10, 11, and even close to 18 inches in the north central part. All right, so taking a look at the NAM 3 kilometer, this is the first mesoscale model that can go pretty far out here. We're going to be seeing those blizzard conditions here Thursday at 2 a.m. Take a look at that across the northern plains and watch how this propagates eastward here. This is essentially your future radar. So look what's happening. Yeah, there is that initial onset here in the east of sleet, freezing rain, and wet snow. 1 p.m. Thursday, but I don't expect that to really accumulate too much. It's actually going to change to rain pretty quickly, and look at that rain-snow line. Pretty well in agreement, and I'll show you momentarily with the GFS. Look at that. Blasting cold air behind this system, and yeah, we could see a line of thunderstorms or heavy winds here just ahead of that main line. And look at that. We do see some heavy rains here across parts of New York and Pennsylvania. So we're going to get those south to north oriented bands. Winds are going to be howling around this whole thing as well. But look how just west of Cleveland, this is 11 p.m. Thursday. Watch how you quickly change over to snow. You're actually changing over to snow pretty quickly down here in parts of Mississippi too. This is crazy. Northern Alabama, you could see some snowflakes out of this into Tennessee. And look at Ohio. This is Cleveland by 1 a.m. Friday. This is the last frame I can show you on the NAM 3 kilometer, but here you have it. This is our setup, and this is what we have to deal with going into Friday and into Christmas weekend. All right, so let's take a look. Here is the GFS surface precipitation here. As we go in time, let's take a look here. There we go. So heading on into Wednesday into your Thursday. Here is Thursday at 10 a.m. So yeah, the GFS is a little bit more bullish in bringing, initial precipitation into parts of south central Pennsylvania as wet snow. But I assure you there's not going to be much accumulation here because the warm air is really going to overtake things as we move in time. You can see the heavy rain moving into parts of the Northeast by 7 p.m. Thursday. So that will overtake New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this, though. This is where the big deal lies, because this is actually going to show you how far south this rain-snow line is going to get. It's going to get into places like Memphis, all the way up into parts of the Chicago area. So let's just back this up a few frames. We'll see just how intense this blizzard is. So yeah, it forms in Iowa, and it propagates towards St. Louis, Springfield, Chicago, and there's going to be winds howling at 50-plus miles an hour here. This is going to bring visibility way down, and this is where we're going to see the snow. Now, you see it doesn't stick around for too long. This is Thursday by 10 p.m. At least on the Euro, it's showing a bit more progressive here to the east, so we're actually piling up the snow in Indiana. But look at this. By Chicago, at 10 p.m. Thursday, the GFS is actually shutting the snowfall down already. So let's take a look here. It does start to wind it back up, more of a comma-shaped by this time. This is Saturday at 4 a.m. Take a look at this. We're actually changing over to snow in the Cleveland, Youngstown area, Parkersburg down to Charleston, West Virginia, and parts of eastern Kentucky here as well. Most of the Michigan area over towards Chicago, Chicago, you're getting flurries or snow showers, but the wind is just howling, and it's going to feel a lot worse. You're going to have a lot of blowing and drifting snow. We're still dealing with tremendous amounts of rain here in the Northeast, and yeah, there could be some. I'm not expecting record river flooding, but some of those smaller tributaries, you're going to get pretty high here on some of those. So as we continue in time here, this is 10 a.m. on Friday. So yeah, you're dealing with a lot of snow. Let's back this up just a few frames. So yeah, eastern Ohio, 7 a.m. And look how it propagates into central Pennsylvania, western New York. You're still rain here in the Susquehanna Valley. So you can get to work very nicely or wherever you're going for Christmas break nicely. But, things are really going to change quickly here. You can see we could actually have a line of thunderstorms here. I'll have to bring up and see if I can see anything on the mesoscale that might not reach out that far. But look at this. By 1 p.m. Friday, we're starting to change over to heavy wet snow, but it'll be going light and fluffier pretty quickly here into parts of central and western Pennsylvania and New York here. So yeah, you can see how the rain and snow line is propagating. It's actually propagating southeastward quicker than it is up to the northeast, and that goes to show you how much of a bomb this cyclone really is. The wind field is going to be tremendous out of this, and that's one of the things I'll be showing you as well. But look how quickly, this is why I caution why this is not going to be tremendous snow output here into parts of the Northeast, is because we get dry slotted here. This, at 500 millibars, we just bring in a bunch of dry air from the south, as happens with these bomb cyclones. It focuses all the energy up here to the north, and look at that. You're pretty much drying out by 7 p.m. Friday already. It's pretty much shutting off the snow places like Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, New York City. So what it ends up happening here is you get a lake-enhanced bomb up here. You can actually see it almost looks like an eye of a hurricane up here, and you start to see all of this moisture crossing the lakes, and that's where you're going to see the tremendous amount of snow, 3, maybe 4 feet in some of these areas. It's going to be crazy in some of these lake bands. Look at that, southwest-oriented band from Erie up to Buffalo, Dunkirk area, up north of Watertown. You're going to be getting some howling winds and those lake effect bands. The only thing that might lessen these bands is the tremendous wind, but I still expect a tremendous amount of lake. And look at that. By Monday, the 26th, we're actually cleared out. So we back that up. This system is out of here. There's Saturday, 10 a.m., Sunday, 4 a.m., and look at that, we're cleared out. So is there anything else on the horizon? Well, there's a system in the southeast. You got two pieces of energy here. You can see you got to go up here to the north in the northern Great Lakes and then into the southeast here. And as we continue in time, let's see how that propagates. Yeah, it doesn't propagate much. This piece of energy across the north moves much too fast. You have the next one moving in, but look how this system just kind of meanders and fizzles out and lollygags down here off the coast and fizzles out. The next system, yep, it looks like another one of those systems, although a lot less strong here, moving up towards the upper Midwest. This is Saturday, December 31st. Just a little quick feature I wanted to show you for my Northeastern viewers and Mid-Atlantic viewers. Take a look at this. This is Wednesday, 11 p.m. Thursday. Look how it's drawing moisture, this next system, off of the Atlantic coast. Watch this. As we go in time, watch where the arrow is. See how that moisture is funneling right off the Atlantic, and it's literally pushing a tremendous amount of moisture right up into eastern Pennsylvania. This area is going to be primed for heavy rains. So if you're looking, I'm going to go over the rainfall totals with you momentarily, but this is going to be an issue here as we go in time if you're in any of these areas. All right, zooming in closer to the northeast, take a look at this. So this is going into Friday. Look at this. Look at that moisture plume heading right up 11 p.m. Thursday, 1 a.m. Friday. Yeah, you're going to be in the thick of some pretty heavy rain here across southern New England, parts of upstate New York, eastern Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. All right, so let's take a look. The latest Euro looks like it just came in, so let's use that, as we go into Wednesday here. Look at that. There's the low right over Colorado, this big old trough diving. This is where you're getting the energy really starting to pummel and pile up here. Look at this. There is that first wave. So you got this first area of low pressure. There's that second area of low pressure. This is actually contrary to what you'd normally see, where you'd see the primary low become the coastal low, but this is actually going to be a different kind of system here. And you can actually see how that just pivots up the Ohio Valley. This coastal low weakens, and this becomes the primary low, 985 millibars. Look at this. You're actually going to see the cold air bust into parts of the Ohio Valley before it gets into parts of western New York, western Pennsylvania. So look how that just pivots. This is Friday morning. Just after sunrise, there is midday Friday, mid-morning. Look at that. The rain and snow line coming in through parts of the Northeast here, you can see. And look at this. Heavy rain up here into parts of the Northeast. And as we continue, look how that system, there's the dry slot, essentially, coming in right behind it. And as you continue in time here, you can see how that system, a 967 millibar low, that is pretty strong. All right, so taking a look here at northeastern style here, there's that first system. You get a burst of, wintry precipitation quickly taking over as rain. Here is the European showing its classic consistency here. Take a look at this. So this is right before noon. You see, let's get that out of the way there. You see this rain snow line moving through, 978 millibar low, the strongest winds coming right in behind this, blasting through. Take a look at this. So yeah, you almost got to miss it here. Let's actually just back that up a frame, because you can see there's an area of heavy snow right before that rain snow changes over. Burst of heavier snow. This is just afternoon, 1 p.m. So wherever you're going, but look how that quickly the dry slot moves in. This is that dry slot I was talking about, and it moves up into parts of the Northeast. And take a look at the upper Midwest here. There's that wind field. Look at it. It's like a wall of wind coming in Thursday into Friday. This is just before sunrise, and then look at that. Those winds translate to the east, and you're really getting into it. Cleveland, Ohio, 63 mile per hour wind gusts. This is Friday late, 4 to 5 hours after sunset here. And look at this. As we continue to go in time, that pulls out very quickly, thankfully, to the northeast here. All right, so looking at the northeast here, yeah, the winds are going to start howling Thursday into the 20 to 30 some mile per hour range. But look at this. Friday morning, we're really starting to ramp up. Some of these yellow and brown zones could be 50-plus mile per hour winds. And then look at back in through Ohio here. This is going to strengthen as we head throughout the day. You can see this is afternoon, just as you're getting out of work or wherever you're going by, 6, 7 p.m. Look at this. Parts of western New York, western Pennsylvania. These areas up and through here are going to be snowfall. So you're going to see blizzard-like conditions, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. That is tremendous. Now, thankfully, by this time, it looks like a lot of the strongest winds actually going up towards the northeast into parts of eastern Canada. As we get deeper into the south here, let's see just how far south. Yeah, the Euro is bringing these snowfall accumulations all the way down into the mid-Mississippi River Valley here. Look at the state of Missouri here, even 1 to 2 inches here across parts of Kentucky, and then maybe up to 6 inches here in eastern West Virginia. So yeah, something we got to watch for here. All right, so taking a look at the GFS here, yeah, it does a pretty good job as the Euro does across the Midwest. I'm pretty much in agreement. Most of that snow is going to happen here into parts of Michigan and parts of extreme northeastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, and western New York. However, there's an area, this has to do with the Northeast, the extent of the snowfall. Take a look at this. Latest Euro, this is, I believe, highly overdone. I don't know what the GFS is doing here, but it's bringing and I'll show you here on the surface map momentarily, it is bringing a lot of moisture in once the front comes through here. And I just think that's just highly overdone because I think we're going to see a significant dry slot in this area. So these purple colors, yeah, I could see you seeing 1 to 3 inches in this area, but not 6+ inches. I'm just not buying that at this point. All right, so taking a good idea of 500 millibars gives us a really good idea of the troughs and ridges. Here's that trough diving there Friday into Saturday across the Ohio Valley to the northeast. You see that negative tilt to it. But look what's up here. Big Greenland block. Watch how this pivots. So you have this strengthening ridge out west here, and that's going to get stronger. And take a look where the trough has to go here. That big old trough of low pressure, it has to spin to actually westward and retrograde across the North American continent before it slightly pivots to the northeast by Tuesday, December 27th here. And then we're left with a smaller trough here across the east part of the country. But look at this. This is that advertised ridge I was telling you about earlier across the east that might bring us a firecracker ridge here just in time for New Year's. So for you snow lovers, that might not be so good here. But if you're looking for warm weather, that's good news for you. All right, so let's take a hello to my tropical friends here in the Caribbean, Latin America, Central America, out all the way to the Lesser Antilles and beyond. Take a look at this. Yeah, it's a quiet time of year. You don't have too much to worry about down here. Take a look at this. You got some clear skies, those winds coming out of the east, beautiful blue skies. You know, every so often you have a wave that comes through, you know, just east of Trinidad and Tobago here Christmas Day. But look at this. You have to go way up here in the Northern Caribbean to get in any sort of frontal bound activity here. And look at that. That crashes into the northern part of South America. And this front pretty much stays up here draped across Cuba and then winds up the U.S. East Coast. But look at this. All the way through New Year's Day, this is a heavenly time of year in the Caribbean. All right, so as we get into the Western Pacific here, this is where the tropics never really seem to die out. They do get quieter, though, for December, January, and part of February. But this is Friday, December 23rd. Take a look at this. Just west of the Philippines here. You have the Philippines just here, east here. This big old wave, we'll watch it here. That might propagate towards parts of Vietnam in time. But you know what? Things looking pretty quiet for the most part, except there is a feature just east of the Philippines we'll watch. But as you look here, you start to see evidence here that there is some sort of frontal boundary draped across here. So the air mass is a little bit drier up here in the northern Philippines, up towards Manila on northward. And that's giving you some nice clearer skies, you know, into Saturday, Christmas Eve here. Take a look at that. But the intertropical convergence zone is sunk pretty far to the south here. We will have some showers and thunderstorm activity across the central Philippines towards later in the morning Christmas Day here. But as you see, as we go out in time, that remains pretty persistent here. Look at this. This is a little bit concerning. We might have some sort of a spin up off the coast by Tuesday, December 27th. We have a tropical wave that we'll be watching and another tropical wave that seems very persistent. You have to watch these stalled frontal boundaries this time of year in this area. We could continue to see problems here. The good news is they don't seem to really develop into anything much, but this, to me, looks like quite a monsoon-type rain where it just kind of pivots any which direction here from the southeast, and then you see over here towards the west. We start to dry out here in the southern Philippines by the 28th of December here. But as we go in time here, you can see most of the tropical moisture retreating back towards the north. So by Saturday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, you see this frontal boundary has come back farther to the north here, and that's allowed more tropical air mass to continue. Now, we'll have to watch these tropical waves as we get into the new year. Let's see if any of these pose any problems. Yeah. So this is Monday, January 2nd. There is another tropical wave approaching the central Philippines. A lot can change between now and then, but the trend is there for an active pattern, and we could see any one of these form into a tropical depression or a tropical storm as we continue out in time here. Take a look at that. So, yeah, we're remaining pretty active for this time of year, and we'll continue to watch to see if any of these develop into a tropical storm or a typhoon. And Derek Rentschler here from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Look at this. This was his past storm, the Thursday, December 15th here. Take a look at this freezing rain and sleet mix. This was quite a glaze across the area. This kind of thing, when you continue to get hours and hours and even days of freezing rain, you can get some power outages. And look at this. Derek really captured the essence of an ice storm here. Take a look at how it just coated every single branch. And look at these trees just hanging down in the background. This is the kind of thing you really don't want to see. It is beautiful, but it's very treacherous out there, and it can bring down some trees and power lines. Nice captures there, Derek. And here we go, Jim from the New London, Connecticut area on this past Sunday, the December 18th. Take a look at that beautiful sun in the sky. A little cold, but look at that. You can't beat this time of year. You get those crystal clear blue skies, and also Gales Ferry, Connecticut here as well. Take a look at that beautiful sun just dipping below there. Nice captures there, Jim. It's a cold time of year, but if you can get out there and enjoy it, it is really nice to get some fresh air. Nice captures. And taking a look at John here from Skytop Lodge here in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Take a look at this. Yeah, snowfall this past Thursday, December 15th. Take a look at this. He captured the essence of winter here. And the resort towns here in parts of eastern Pennsylvania have been experiencing quite a bit in the way of snow. So if you can get out there and enjoy it, nice captures there, John. All right, so I wanted to show you what's going to happen in the Northeast. Yeah, we're going to get really warm Thursday. Look at this, pushing 40s into parts of upstate New York and eastern Pennsylvania, 50s there into New York City. But watch what I'm really concerned about here. Watch this flash freeze. Here it is Friday at noon, just after noon. Look at that. We literally go from 45, 50 degrees there in eastern Pennsylvania. Look at western Pennsylvania, how you just plummet. This is going to be a flash freeze. If there's no salt on those roadways, they're just going to freeze solid there. Look at that. Friday, this is as you're getting out of work. Look how we start the day in the 50s there in the Susquehanna River Valley, and we plummeted to 11 degrees in both Binghamton and Wilkes-Barre Scranton. This is what I'm really concerned about there into the Northeast. You get all this rainfall, and then it changes to a quick period of sleet and snow, and look at that. It just freezes, and look at that. We're stuck in the single digits most of Saturday morning there. All right, so last but not least, total precipitation liquid equivalent here in the east. This is for those of you across the east that will be mainly rain here in the parts of the east. Take a look at this. Yeah, 1, 2, maybe 3 inches parts, especially eastern New England here. Take a look at this. Yeah, as we go in time here is Thursday into Friday. Look at this. Yeah, thankfully, it's kind of backed off a bit due to the fast-moving nature of some of these showers and thunderstorms. But look at this. You'll average about an inch there in the Binghamton area, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, down to Washington, D.C., Albany, New York. Look at this, though. Eastern New England, you might have a few flooding problems approaching 2.5, 3 inches here from Boston up to Portland. Yeah, it's going to be really rainy. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna River Valley. Take a look at this Wednesday through Christmas Day. Yeah, we're going to be looking at sunny skies Wednesday, but that's quickly going to fade to showers and windier conditions later Thursday. Into Friday, we really get into the wind, blasting 20 to 40 miles per hour with some gusts over 50 at times, 1 to 2 inches of rain, translating maybe up to a slushy inch or two of snow over from late afternoon Friday into Friday night. Christmas Eve, we shut that all down. Still windy. Look at that. Only 13 for a high, 6 as a low, and Christmas Day will be cold, 21, low of 4. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MediaMark's Weather Northeastern. Don't forget, link is in the description down below for my winter outlook for this winter season. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, tip jar also down below. You can find it down there. Also, Facebook MediaMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern, and don't forget MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com. Thanks for joining me.